Good morning, class, or good afternoon. Sorry, today it's just going to be me. I don't have my little Latin helpers helping me out today. I hope you're all doing well this morning. We're going to start by going over yesterday's homework. So for yesterday, you should have done the worksheet on page 6. Now, I know there's different ways we can correct this, but I think it'll be good for you to hear the answers from me and go through it. And that way, if you, instead of having your parents correct it, that way, if you see there's something wrong, you can ask the question, why is this wrong? Why is the answer this and not that? Okay, so I'm going to start with the translation section. I'll go through this kind of quick because you can always listen to this again if it goes too fast. 1, amo, I love. 2, I enter. 3, I give. 4, I work. 5, story. 6, in principio erat verbum. In the beginning was the word. 7, aqua is water. 8, gate. 9, I tell. 10, forest. 11, earth. And then in your table, I'm going to start with the left column going down. Amo, amas, amat, right column. Amamus, amatus, amant. Grammar in Latin, both verbs and nouns have endings. 2, Latin is a language of fewer words, but many endings. 3, what kind of word names the action or a state of being in a sentence? A verb. 4, to conjugate a verb is to list all of its forms. Okay, and at the very bottom, derivatives. Aesop is famous for his fables, right? Fable is a derivative of the Latin word fabula. And reward will follow hard labor, right? From laboro, labor. Good. All right, let's turn back in our book and let's take some time to review vocab. So I'm going to say this, and you should say this out loud with me when I repeat it. Amo, amare, amavi, amatum. Now repeat. Amo, amare, amavi, amatum. I love, to love, I loved, loved. We'll say the English part together. Next. Do, dare, dedi, datum. Now repeat. Do, dare, dedi, datum. I give, to give, I gave, given. Intro, intrare, intravi, intratum. Now repeat. Intro, intrare, intravi, intratum. Okay. Listen. Laboro, laborare. I'm going to break this one up. Now repeat. Laboro, laborare. Now listen. Laboravi, laboratum. Now repeat. Laboravi, laboratum. I work, to work, I worked, worked. Next, listen. Naro, narare, naravi, naratum. Now repeat. Naro, narare, naravi, naratum. I tell, to tell, I told, told. Sorry. Aqua, aquae. Now repeat. Aqua, aquae. Water. Listen. Fabula, fabulae. Now repeat. Fabula, fabulae. Story. Porta, portae. Now repeat. Porta, portae. Gate. Silva, silvae. Now repeat. Silva, silvae. Forest. Terra, terrae. Now repeat. Terra, terrae. Earth. Now, what did we talk about yesterday? Try to think. If you need to, pause the video for a moment. What did we talk about? I should say on Monday, because we didn't have, you did your own work on Tuesday, but what did we work on Monday? That's right, we talked about nouns and verbs. And what is a noun? Okay, pause the video, think about it, answer. That's right, a noun is a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. And what's a verb? Again, pause the video if you need to think for a minute. Verbs show action or state of being. So things like looking, right? Or smiling, those are actions. State of being is again, a lot of times we use the word is or are or am. Right, the infinitive is to be. So I am a father, that's a state of being. I am an American, that's a state of being. Right, sometimes we use the word, have. I have blonde hair or blondish hair. Maybe it's more brown now than blonde. Okay, so in Latin, now I'm going to bring up my fancy sheet here. In Latin, our verbs have 4 principal parts, right? And so every time we learn a verb, we use those 4 parts, or we learn those 4 parts, right? We're not going to talk a lot right now about what they mean, right? We know what they mean, right? We've said amo, I love, amare, to love, amavi, I loved, amatum, loved. But for now, we're just memorizing them so that we can A, conjugate them, right? Show their different endings, and B, right, start learning them now so that as we have greater exposure to them, we'll understand them better. So there are 4 principal parts. And again, these allow us to conjugate, right? To conjugate these verbs. And conjugate just means you show its different endings. And these different endings show a couple different things. They show the person, right? Is it first, second, or third person? Right? First person is I or we. Second person is you or you all. Third person is he, she, it, or they. And then the number, right? Is it singular? We're talking about one or many. Okay? And so we don't need to use pronouns in Latin like I love. We can just say amo. And the ending, that O, shows us who the pronoun is. Now, all A-R-E verbs like amo, amare, they're all going to conjugate the same way. And so if we know, right, it's an ARE verb like do, dare, dedi, datum, we can know all of its conjugations, right? So as long as I know that the endings are OST, mus, tis, und, I can take our verb do, dare, dedi, datum, and I can conjugate it, right? And again, do, dare, dedi, datum. Anybody remember what that means? I give, to give, I gave, given. Okay, so why don't we go through this together, and then we'll just practice our endings. So why don't you listen the first time, and then we'll repeat the second time. Do, I give. Das, you give. Dat, he, she, it gives. Damus, we give. Datus, you all give. Dant, they give. Okay, let's do this together now. Repeat after me. Do, I give. Do, I give. Das, you give. Das, you give. Dat, he, she, it gives. Dat, he, she, it gives. Damus, we give. Damus, we give. Datus, you all give. Datus, you all give. And dant, they give. Dant, they give. Okay, good job. Let's end by practicing just our chant, just our endings. O-S-T, mus, tis, und. So why don't you guys say them with me? We'll say them, I'll say them, and then we'll say them together. O-S-T, mus, tis, und. O-S-T, mus, tis, und. And so sometimes it helps if we do fun things while we're repeating things together, helps us to remember. So this time, why don't we see if we can close our eyes and say them, right, without looking at the screen. O-S-T, mus, tis, und. Good, we got them right. Now let's use a whisper. O-S-T, mus, tis, und. And finally, let's talk like a, let's talk really loud. O-S-T, mus, tis, und. So again, we want to memorize these endings, that O-S-T, mus, tis, und, so that we will be able to recognize different words. So for example, if I see the word, let's look at one of your vocab words, narat, right? I can look at the ending, so naro, narari, naravi, narat, and that means I tell, to tell, I told, told. Well, narat, right? That's third person singular. That means he, she, or it told. Or if I see the verb laboramus, right? I know laboro, laborari, laboravi, laboratu means I work, to work, I worked, worked. Well, if I see that mus ending, well, I know it means we worked, right? That's again, that's the goal. That's why we're going to take a lot of time this year to memorize these conjugation endings so that we'll be able to read and understand Latin. Also write Latin. All right. Thanks, guys. Hey, have a good rest of your week. Bye.